Top of the morning, y'all. This show gonna definitely go over 3 minutes, so just go to the videos and see the rest of it. So I told y'all about November 17th court date. You feel what I'm saying? Which was 2 days ago. And my interaction with court officer nurse and clerk Chris. Now the judge that was on the bench that day was Evelyn Gong, and I uploaded the short. I know y'all seen it. But I didn't get to tell y'all about yesterday's court date. I went to court the very next day, November 18th, and I didn't get to tell y'all about that. So I goes back to court yesterday. I went to court yesterday, and same part and everything, and the same people was there. The judge was just different. So officer nurse was there and clerk Chris was there, but the judge this time was Judge Joseph, middle initial F, last name Kasper, and he did my trial that I recorded. I uploaded the trial, which y'all can see before Joseph F. Kasper. And so when I went before him yesterday, of course he seen the recording of the trial. I believe it was last week he did my trial. He seen the recording. Yeah, it was last week, and he felt the way, of course. So I gets in the courtroom. First of all, when I get there 9 o'clock, they made me sit there to 1 o'clock, right? So I sat there all the way to 1. Then I had to come back at 2:30. Now I get there at 2:30. The courtroom is empty. There's a little bit of people in there, but everybody start leaving out. Now I'm the only one in there. And I'm like, here we go with this. It's me and the landlord. We the only one in there, because this case on the 18th was against the landlord. And so I'm in the courtroom, it's empty, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, all right, it's some games they could play. So he calls the case, right? So I goes before him. Clerk Chris, the first thing Clerk Chris say is, take your phone out and put it on the table so we know that you're not recording. And I'm like, wow. So I does it, show him I'm not recording. And now the judge is, he goes on a record. He starts talking, and the first thing he started talking about is me recording. He not even talking about the case with the landlord. So he like, Mr. Taylor, you have anything that you want to tell the court? And I'm like, at first I'm thinking he talking about the case. So I start speaking about my claim, making my argument, and he's looking like, nah, I'm not talking about that. And so then he brings up the phone situation. So he's like, listen, we know you have a history of recording and uploading on YouTube and stuff. And he's like, look, I see that you have your phone on the table right here, but the court is aware that you have 2 phones. So can you take the other phone out your bag? And I'm like, Your Honor, I don't have no phone in my bag, and I'm not recording. And long story short, well, you're on a record, right? And you're telling me that you don't have no phone in that bag and you're not recording or anything right now. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm telling you. He said, that's perjury. Once this case is over, and if you was to upload a video, that's perjury, because you're under oath right now. You understand that, right? So you see the bullshit that they playing? So he's like, yeah, I see that you got this phone on the table, but you can still be recording because you have another phone. You have 2 phones. He's saying it's in a bag. I'm saying there's no phone in the bag, and I don't even have 2 phones. And he's like, so now the officer nurse jumps in and says, we know for sure that you have 2 phones on you. Now what they getting at is that they trying to say, when I went through the magnometer and all of that they could see that I had 2 phones, they could see everything. So that's what officer nurse said. He said, we know for sure that you have 2 phones on you right now. So now y'all turn this into an investigation, a potential illegal search and seizure. That's where I see this going. So I continue telling the judge, I'm like, Your Honor, I don't have a second phone. I'm not recording. Can we proceed? And he's just like, no, not until you take that phone out your bag. And I'm like, I don't have a phone in my bag. So then Officer Nurse says, well, he has it on him. I don't know where it is, but he have two phones, Your Honor, and we know for sure that you have two phones on you. So Officer Nurse was pretty much saying, if it's not in your bag, then it's on you. And I'm just looking at them. I'm like, y'all still talking about this? We still on this topic? Which means that it's gonna escalate. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So then the judge like, you don't have two phones. You don't have a phone in your bag. No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. So he didn't take my word for it. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, if I tell him no, we gonna move forward. Next thing you know, he say, yo, so are you willing to let us search the bag? He used another word, but that's pretty much what he said. Are you willing to let the officer retrieve or whatever he said, look through the bag? And I'm like, no, you bugging. Now y'all going that far now to the point where you want to search my bag? This is an illegal search and seizure y'all about to do. So I'm like, no. And he like, well, we not gonna move forward with the case, with this trial, if you don't let us look in your bag. And I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable. And I'm like, well, you adjourned it. I'm like, another judge did the same thing yesterday, and y'all could have just said that earlier, like, instead of wasting my time. You feel what I'm saying? I'm like, you could have just adjourned it just like the judge did yesterday. And he was like, no, if you don't allow us to look in your bag, I'm not gonna adjourn the case. I'm gonna dismiss it. I think he said with prejudice or something like that. So I'm like, all right, you can do what you gonna do, man. I started getting my papers and I just left because I felt like they was gonna try to, like do some type of search, and that would have escalated to something else, trying to search my bag or trying to search my person or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? I wasn't having that. So I'm like, I see this is going too far now because they still on this topic. I mean, we're not even talking about the case. We went on a record and started talking about if I got two phones on me right now and if I'm recording. So I'm like, oh, they trying to, and I just thought of a lot of negative stuff when I was in there. I thought it could have escalated to an arrest or somebody putting their hands on me, all types of shit. So, I didn't even ask him for a written decision. I said, all right, that's what you want to do? I said, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I got my papers together and I just left. And I want my written decision because I want to know what you got in writing, because you can't. First of all, I looked up perjury, and if you're when somebody is charged with perjury, the prosecutor has to prove that the person lied under oath, right? But it has to deal with the action that's before the court. You feel what I'm saying? Meaning, if I lied under oath regarding the lawsuit against my landlord, not about a phone, not about if I got two phones, that has nothing to do with today's court appearance. You feel what I'm saying? So they tried to twist it, because they bank on you not knowing the law. I can't even be charged with perjury, even if I was recording and I upload that whole proceeding, because it didn't have what y'all saying I lied about under oath. Don't have nothing to do with today's with the court date for the 18th. It don't have nothing to do with that. I was there for a lawsuit against my landlord. You feel what I'm saying? So prosecutors can't even prove that. But would I even take a chance and play with them if I had a recording? No. You feel what I'm saying? But I want y'all to definitely comment on this because, So you see the little game they was playing? They like, all right, he want to play these games with these phones. We gonna watch what he's bringing in. We gonna when he go through the mignometer, we're gonna be able to see if he got 2 phones or not. And when he get here, just put him under oath and ask him about the 2 phones. And if he lie, then we're gonna charge him with perjury. These people are slick, man. So yeah, I just walked out. I ain't get a written decision, and I'm gonna definitely file a complaint with the Commission on Judicial Conduct with this. He just dismissed my case. It wasn't a big case anyway. That's a small case. Like, you feel what I'm saying? You can have that, my man. You feel what I'm saying? But you're not gonna do no illegal. You're not gonna violate my 4th Amendment. I'm not gonna allow you to do that. I'm not gonna consent to you searching my bag. So this is harassment, man. This is harassment. And I was kind of scared, man. So that's why I just got up out of there. So we gonna make this a big deal, man. Which I did yesterday. Joseph, middle initial F, Kasper. Word. I'ma holler though, y'all.